Today's guest is an entrepreneur. She started her business because she saw an opportunity in the industry she was working to bring diversity into the industry, and she wanted to do things right. She had some ideas. She worked in a great company, but saw an opportunity to start her own business. And she was very humble. She went out and she learned and she searched information and she got the right information and she followed her path. And today she owns a global supply chain company, a freight company. And we just had a great conversation. I'm glad you're here. Let's go.
You're listening to Espresso Jams, short, concentrated, delicious conversations about business, technology, and entrepreneurship. If you're just starting out on your business adventure or you're a seasoned business professional, I'm sure you'll find value in these short conversations. Espresso Jams is brought to you by Apexible, providing the tools, insights, and transformative structures to help you reach your business summit. I'm your host, Joe Matz. Let's get started.
And welcome to the show. Today, I am so happy. I am meeting and talking with a wonderful, fantastic woman who I met on a networking organization meeting over Zoom recently. And she is the owner, founder, and president of Maze Freight Solutions. They're a global supply chain company. She's also a wife and a mother, and she's an author. She wrote a book called Finding Your Toddler Ambition. And in between that, she's a community activist and is actively working to improve supply chain logistics through technology. So welcome to the show, Jay Mays.
Hi, thank you so much for having me on, Joe. I'm excited to be here and excited to share, our origin and our journey, our beginning, our middle, and, what we see towards the future.
Yeah, so we had this meeting scheduled a month or so ago, but speaking
Yes.
about new things, we had to put it off, didn't we?
We did have to put it up. The Lord blessed, and we were able to add a new addition to our home. My new niece was born. And so, that right there, life and certain circumstances kind of, you have to put things to the side to quickly tend to family business. And I'm all about family. And so, but everything is all good. She's healthy, she's beautiful. And now we are here to be able to record and have a great conversation.
That is so awesome. It's just fantastic. Fantastic.
It
Love
is.
babies and
I
all
do.
the good stuff. Yeah.
I do.
Yeah. So Jay, where do you hail from today?
Okay, I reside in Overland Park, Kansas.
In Kansas.
In Kansas, yes, we are right here in the Midwest. Where everything has to flow through. So, we get the best of both worlds, not so much the ports, but we do have rail hubs that flow through Kansas City, but we are able to, control and also analyze freight from all regions of the world being here, all regions of the United States, North America, by being here in the Midwest. So it's a great place for me. And the cost of living is just wonderful here.
I don't know
Wonderful.
anything about that. I'm on the East Coast.
Oh, are you on the East Coast? So you know what? How is fuel on the East? I try to keep up with the different regions, but certain cities actually change as well. So how is that for you all on the East?
Would you be surprised? We hit a new
Yeah.
record today.
You okay, and what is that?
It's somewhere around 420, 4
Oh,
18, something like that.
oh, man, diesel is still above
Yeah.
$5 a gallon. And so that's what I mainly pay attention to. And I'm sorry, it is bad around the nation.
Yeah. And that's
Actually, the globe. I was looking in Africa. There's issues there, issues in India, issues even in the, southern regions. It's all bad.
And my wife and I, we both work from home, so we don't
Yes.
get in the car. I mean, we'll go weeks sometimes and we'll do 5 miles, maybe. But
Yeah.
I'm sure it really affects your business.
It does. It does affect our business because we know the supply chain is what runs the world,
Yeah.
trade.
Yeah.
And now more than ever, people are realizing how important supply chain is. And it's a topic of discussion every day, every week, every minute, every hour.
Sure.
Because this is how our goods and services, if you look around, everything that's in your home, everything you eat, everything you put on your body, everything you use to fix your home, everything, your tech, everything derives from supply chain and
Right.
trade.
So the general population in the US has been talking about supply chain exponentially so in the last year and a half. We start
Yeah,
hearing about, cars not getting their chips and things like that,
right.
computers and things
Correct.
like that. But you've been talking about supply chains for many years.
For many, many years. I mean, and it's interrupting every industry, the beauty industry, the manufacturing industry, the agricultural industry,
Yeah.
the tech industry. It is affecting it. Now, I just want everyone to know that everyone who is in supply chain is working so hard to fix this issue. And for those who don't know what is going on, is when you've had a system that has been operating the same way with general improvements for a few hundred years or so, or 100 years or so, anything past 50 years, and you break that for 2 weeks, when the economy shut down, the government shut down, half of the workforce does not return to work. That's when we start seeing major supply chain issues. And also, while those people who are at work on the lockdown, what are they doing? They're on their phones, they're buying, they're cyber buying, and all of that has to be shipped, right? So we stack on demand. We have half of the labor who did not go back. So you've got high demand, no labor. What do you think's going to happen, Joe?
Right. Yeah. Yeah, I
What do you
know.
think's
And I
going to
know,
happen?
I've seen prices go up. I've seen Amazon prices go up recently.
Amazon prices, the overhead with
They're,
what's going on with fuel cost right now.
yeah,
It's now trickling down to, it's starting to put some trucking companies out of business because they just cannot afford the overhead. And then we have rates. We're doing everything in our power to keep vendor rates low. We know that rates rose 25%. I mean, they hiked up so bad. So vendors have to try to keep costs low, but also keep operations moving. And then
right.
you have the trucking companies, who are the guys who are transporting with high fuel, $5, over $5 a gallon. Joe,
And what was it 2 years ago? Because I'm not really up on diesel prices.
diesel prices, we were hovering in the threes, almost the fours, but the threes, high threes,
Okay.
hovering. Yeah. There's nowhere near five.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow.
So trucking companies now are having to make decisions, also trying to find the labor. It seems like work has just been discredited, and no one, I look and say, what are we going to do in the future? All of this work we're putting in now to build sustainable companies, if we don't have the skill set labor to come in when we have to pass along these businesses that we've built, what are we going to do for the future? So now I'm also advocating for people to join the supply chain
Mm.
sector, trying to make truck driving attractive again. And what it's going to take is more motivation. I mean, if we can get some of these social media, big tech companies to start trying to advertise and put out that the trucking industry needs you.
Yeah.
I know. Yeah, I know we
Yep.
can try to make money on TikTok, but to be honest, the way we need to eat is the trucking industry needs you.
So let's back up a little bit here.
Yeah.
How is it that you came to own a freight solution company, global supply company, and tell me a little bit about how that came about. Did you grow up playing with trucks or doll? I
No,
mean,
I did not. I grew up just like, playing with dolls, of course.
okay.
I had toddler ambition. One thing, I wrote a book called Toddler Ambition, and I refer to this a lot because when I was growing up, My parents, which is my father behind me, he was a blind man, but he had the ambition of a businessman. And even though he was blind, his ambitions grew and grew into him being a national businessman. But what I did was I watched my parents and I watched people around me. My father was always doing business. Not only was he doing business, he was a pastor of a church as well. And so I would meet all walks of life that would come to him for advice. If it was business, I would connect in business. If it was for the church, for God, winning souls to Christ, I would see the way he and my mother would do that. But I got to meet a lot of people and I got to see different industries, just not in a box of the lawyer, doctor, what they're telling us about in school. What are the 8 scientists, lawyer, doctor,
Right.
teacher, fireman, policeman, just the regular 8 options. So, but I got to see this and I had cousins who were in the trucking industry.
Okay.
Cousins who were in, but it still didn't spark thing to me. We used to, as kids, ride and we see the trucks and we do like
That's
this.
right.
We all do it, and then we see the smoke come out of the pipe, and we, when they honk their horn, it shakes your little car. It's so exciting. But I was never putting anything together. Like, man, this guy is really delivering the bread that we eat in the grocery store.
Sure.
It hadn't. A girlfriend of mine told me about a wonderful company. This is in 2008. And she said, I found this company that they're in freight. But not only are they in freight, they care about their employees. It's like a family. You have potential to grow there. There's learning potential. And the CEO he really connects with his employees. And so I checked into it. And by the way, this company is called freightquote.com. It has been since sold off. The original founder did sell it, which it really hurt all of our hearts because we were a big family. But just like any other company, it starts off great and then, it gets acquired and things change. That's just how it is.
Sure.
But I started at this company and I knew nothing. I knew my cousins worked in it and they were team drivers. I did know about that, husband and wife team. So
Oh, wow.
that
So they were
I
long haul trucking.
long haul.
And you
Yes,
knew
so
nothing about the business when you started.
nothing.
So what
Nothing.
did you do when you got in there, knowing nothing?
So I got in there and I told the lady when I interviewed and I did all my research about the company. And when I learned about them, I said, oh my God, this is fascinating. This is trade. I've always wanted to get in exporting, always. But I was trading more on a commodities trader, but not infrastructure commodity. Okay. So, I dabbled in that a little bit. I was really trying to find myself, Joe. Where do I fit in? And we all go through that.
Sure.
We all go through, you start off here and sometimes your first idea isn't your best idea. And so you start off trying to find yourself. But when I found myself here, learning supply chain, learning the different trucks, learning different routes, learning how city governance, clearances, bridge clearances, infrastructure, I fell in love.
Wow.
Joe, I fell in love.
I can see the passion coming through.
I fell in love with everything, whether it's ocean freight, air freight, even tariffs. I mean, I can go on and on about everything that I love because now I'm communicating with different countries. I get to, speak to different ethnicities, and we're all speaking the same language, supply chain.
Wow.
So now I'm able to speak to someone in Asia, able to speak to someone in, let's say, Ukraine, because you have agriculture with wheat coming out of Ukraine. I'm able to speak to someone in the UK. I'm able to speak to all of these people, and we're all speaking the same supply chain language.
That's so cool.
It's so cool. It also gave me a platform to spark up a conversation with anyone. Do you understand? On any language, on any subject or topic, because supply chain involves everything.
Sure.
So I learned, I grew, I was able to really work very closely with the CEO, and it kind of felt like, I was being groomed for what I'm doing, but it was not consciously.
Okay.
it just happened to happen. Sometimes things happen for divine, for a divine purpose. And I am a sole believer of that, that anyone you meet, you make sure they add value to your life.
Right.
But he did, and he took to me, and I opened up that, what the operation that he was running was fantastic. I had never seen an operation ran like this. Everything ran so smooth. The man was a genius in building a successful infrastructure that would go on to help people as a legacy. I loved it. I loved everything about it. So I wanted to get in it. This is what I wanted to do. I was dead on it. This is what I want to do. But what I did see, I said, I could bring diversity for women to this. This is what I can do.
So was that the inspiration then to go out on your own?
That was the inspiration for me to go out on my own.
Okay.
The inspiration was, we all know it's a man's world. We know that, Joe.
Less and less, which is a good thing.
Yes, but in supply chain, it is a man's world. But I saw more of who the brains were behind the operations of it. And so I said, man, if I could introduce this to women who I know were extremely good critical thinkers, could think swiftly, could communicate with anyone. They just hadn't had this type of opportunity to be able to spread their wings. If I can do this, then not only am I creating something that will change lives, this could be something that could feed families forever. So I did. I saw the opportunity and I took the opportunity. I didn't wait for opportunities to come from me. To me. I got up and I made them. And I said, what if I could do this on this scale, but even better? Because we're always evolving and there's always room for improvement and advancement.
It's important to get moving. You have to start. You can't improve nothing if you're just sitting watching TV.
If you're just sitting there, exactly.
Right.
So I couldn't wait. I was, I always knew that I was groomed for something very, strong, something that God was really having me do to impact many, many lives. And I was like, what is it? What is it? And it comes to supply chain. This is where my passion is. And this is where lives can really change.
So you opened your own business.
Yes.
Right? And then were you by yourself or did you hire people right away? Were you on a shoestring budget?
Oh, so my husband and I, we made the decision. He was my cheerleader, my advocate for this. And there's something I always wanted to do. I had a little faith. I did, but you've got that faith, but then you also got that other one saying, are you sure this is something you want to do?
That's right.
This is something big,
Talking here.
Yeah. It's over here. And so he was my advocate. He was my spiritual guidance. He was my cheerleader. And he says, I know what you can do. And he started naming, some individuals who were not as honest as they could be in business. And he would say, if so-and-so can do this, I know you can do it because you have righteousness in you. I know you can do that. And I know where your passion is for changing lives. So one day we just woke up and we said, let's just go do it. So we woke up, went downtown, got our business license, got the plan put together. The first thing I did was seek out mentorship. What should I do? What should I do? What should I do? Got that path to lead me to the correct direction, went down to the SBA, jumped on some classes to learn because this is new. I'm coming from a sales agent and now I'm going into being a business owner. So I had to learn how to manage myself, self-control. I had to learn how to make definite decisions. I had to learn financials. I had to learn how to become a CEO, Joe.
Absolutely.
And I could not be afraid to ask questions. I asked so many questions. I joined all the free organizations that I could. I started surrounding myself around successful business leaders, also small business leaders to tell me what to do, what not to do.
I think that is such a great mindset and attitude to go into business, and knowing that you don't know, but having that ambition to find out and the humility to say, I don't know, I need to learn. That is so awesome.
Yeah, I surrounded myself with I built an ecosystem around myself.
Yeah.
that, if this person didn't know the answer, they knew someone who did know the answer. And when I was going through the hard times, I built such great relationships that, when I was going through the hard times, there were people to come and help pick me up to say, you know what, this isn't it. You can do this. Let me show you how. You can go this way. Don't go that way. And if anyone who is going into business to be an entrepreneur, you have to build that ecosystem around you. You can't be afraid to ask questions, and you have to listen and execute.
That's
And
right.
that's what
So
I do.
let's talk about ambition, and
Yes,
specifically toddler ambition.
toddler ambition.
And if you listen to the beginning of this conversation with Jay, you know that she's an author, and her book is called Finding Your Toddler Ambition. It's available on Amazon. And we're going to
Yes.
talk about that book right now. How did this come about? Toddler
Well,
ambition.
toddler ambition. I watched my children, Joe. I watched my children as they were babies, small toddlers, and I watched their inquisitiveness, okay? How inquisitive they were, how ambitious they were, that, any little thing, any sound, they're looking around, what's that sound? What's this feel like? What's that taste? And they wanted to get into everything. And then as they grew a little more, they knew everything. You know how that goes.
Yeah,
But
that
they,
must have been teenage years or so.
those are the teenage years, you know. But as business, I said, business is like a toddler when you're starting one,
Hmm.
because for one, you have to crawl before you walk. And crawling, even just taking that first step, that first leg up to even go to move forward, that's a lot, right? Also, toddlers, when they begin to walk, how many times do they fall? A lot.
Right.
But then how many times do they get up, Joe?
Yeah.
A
Every
lot.
time. Every time.
Every single time they get up, every single time. Toddlers, they want to learn more and more and more. So what do? They ask so many questions. What is this? What is that? What is this? What is that? And it gets on our nerves. But what is that doing? Brain development. And what we're doing is we're feeding them, we're molding them to be bigger, to think bigger, okay, this is bigger than this, and this is bigger than this, and this is bigger than this. And that's what parents do. We mold them, but their brains are expanding and expanding. And even in business, you have to ask many questions. You have to ask, what does this do? What does that do? What does this do? What does that do? Because it's all new. So I watched the children. I watched how they were fearless. Their definition of flying is not jumping out of a plane or flying like a bird. Their definition is, if I jump off this bed, I'm going to be flying for a split second.
Yes, I remember those years.
You remember those years. You remember when, they knew that at the pool, they had to be this height, but, they thought in their mind, I'm not this height, but I think I can get on this ride. So they didn't have any fear of trying new things.
Right.
They had ambitions to be the best at everything that they wanted to do. They had ambitions. You know how children are when it comes to animals. They just love and love. They love so much. But if we brought that same love and passion back to everything that we do, as toddlers do, when your children pick the flowers and they pick it for mommy and they bring you dandelions, but to them, their eyes, they're the most beautiful flowers in the world. And all they want to do is just take them to mom to make her happy.
That's right. Yep.
The ambition that they love everything, they love every animal, they love nature, they want to learn, and they want to expand their minds. This is what toddler ambition is about.
Isn't that a little bit dangerous in an adult? So if you, like, I suffer from shiny object syndrome.
Okay.
And a lot of what I heard you talking about, I'm like relating to my particular addiction to shiny objects. I gotta bring it in, you know?
Yeah,
Um,
you're addicted to shiny objects.
oh yeah, I'm exaggerating a little bit, but
Yeah, I
I
know.
get
Well, now, when you
distracted.
say shiny objects, are you saying diamonds? Are you addicted to diamonds?
No, no, not diamonds. No, no.
Okay.
My shiny objects are like a new computer program,
Okay.
a new
What,
bicycle, a new part for my bicycle, something like that.
what's wrong with that?
It's distracting.
Is it distracting? Okay, so you're not having an ambition problem. You're probably having a time management or either a time, because to me, you have to keep the brain going
Yes,
strong.
definitely.
So if you're learning about new computer software, uh, what are you doing? You're exercising your brain, correct? And you're
Yes.
not letting it sit idle. When you're learning about a new part to put on a bike, what are you doing? Are you exercising your brain?
Well, I don't look at it that way, but I think you're right. Yeah,
Yeah, you're always learning.
right.
You're always wanting and inquisitive about new things. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Now, when it becomes a consumption, yes, you might have to dial that down, just like we tell our children, you can't eat the whole cookie jar, a jar of cookies, you can have one or two. So what you do is you limit your intake of those things and you manage that. But I don't see anything wrong with always learning, Joe.
That's what I
So
do. It's almost like I have to take my daily pill, so I only take one cookie from the jar.
you only take
don't
one cookie
don't
from the
spend my
jar.
day don't spend my
Yeah.
day on the distractions.
Exactly. So just take one, but reward yourself with a cookie.
Yeah, I do. I do.
That's what I'll say about that, Joe.
My mom had to hide that cookie jar way up high.
Yes, I did. My mom, you know what? And our book cover, you'll see on the front, it's my two, and my son is holding up three fingers, and my daughter has a cookie in her. But that story is because I did hold the cookie jar all the way up high above the refrigerator. And then when I went to my bedroom just for a second, I can't remember what I was doing. When I came back, they had innovatively got the cookie jar from above the refrigerator using chairs, stools, and drawers from the cabinet. Teamwork.
Teamwork.
And
Yes.
then when I busted them in the bathroom, they were eating the cookies. So that was
Oh,
the toddler ambition. That's the book cover because, for one, they had teamwork, they were innovative, and they achieved their goal of
you
getting.
you almost want to congratulate them,
You
but you
always
also want to spank their little hiney a little
You
bit.
do. You want to spank their little honey. It's like, didn't I tell you? But at the same time, you're like, good Lord, this was genius on how they did that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
the ambition that they were innovatively thinking to work together to get what I told them not to get.
Yeah, that sounds like a great book and great stories. Um,
It is.
so tell me, Jay, what do you have going on now? What exciting projects and things do you have going on?
Oh man, we've got so much going on. We're improving, always improving our logistics supply chain company, making sure we're adding value to our customers' lives to make sure their supply chain is running smoothly. Our biggest project right now is working on improving supply chain. And so, right now we're working on for 2023 a big expo, which is going to be bringing in all of these supply chain tech companies in the Midwest. We want to bring them together to talk about the future of supply chain, how to better supply chain. It's broken, and it takes all of us to come together to try to figure this out. And so that's what we're working on the project to bring this tech, supply chain tech sector to the Midwest for 2023 for the first time, so we can discuss how to better supply chain so we can make sure we get the kids the baby formula that they need, the agriculture that we need, just even the toilet paper, Joe. Everything could be at risk if we don't come together and figure this out.
Yeah, sure. And we'll have more information on that in the show notes. So if
Yes.
anyone's interested in learning more about that, they can look in the show notes. We'll have information on how to connect with Jai and
Yes.
also about her book. We'll have all that in the
Yes.
show notes along with
Yes.
additional information. Right
Good.
now,
Mm-hmm.
we've got a lot of people listening to us and they're wondering all of this exciting talk, right? Enthusiastic talk. What would be the one takeaway you'd like to leave with our audience today?
One thing I would say is we've all seen how life can change in an instant. We had a pandemic to come through and it took a lot of lives, and it scared a lot of lives, and it impaired a lot of lives. The one thing that I will tell you, if there is something that you want to do that is positive and life changing, but could better your life and also better those around you, Don't wait. Don't procrastinate. Have faith. Have faith in God. Have faith in yourself, and just do it, because everyone needs each other right now. So if
Yes,
there's
we do.
anything that you want to do, just do it.
Just do it. Take that first step.
Take that first step.
That is
Yes.
an awesome message, Jai, and it has been such a pleasure talking with you. I can't believe the time has gone so fast.
I know, because we could talk forever, Joe. We could go on
Yes.
and
We'll have
on.
to have you back on the show.
Okay, sounds good. I'd love to be a part.
Awesome. Very good. Thank you, Jai, and have a great day.
You too. Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Take care.
Thank you for listening to Espresso Jams. If you like what you heard, please subscribe on your preferred channel and never miss another episode. If you'd like more business tips on technology, entrepreneurship, and doing better, you can find me on LinkedIn at Joe Matz, that's JoeMatz, or go to my website, apexable.com, that's apex-able.com. I'm your host, Joe Matz, wishing you an awesome day.